Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about dumb phones, a specific dumb phone, which is the Wisephone 2. Here it is in all its glory, and we'll get into it in a second. Before we do, I want to just talk about a few things.
What's up? Editor Ben here. Spencer's going to go into the background of the entire story of this device. But if you want to skip ahead to 923 or just kind of search the chapters, you can skip right to the review. So just wanted to point that out. All right, back to the video.
First, if you're new to the channel and you like technology from an intentional living and minimalist perspective, please consider subscribing for more. That's what we talk about on this channel. We like tech that follows form and function. And we've covered dumb phones, this idea of dumb phones, dumb devices quite a bit on this channel. If you're unaware, basically it's like smartphones have gotten so good that they do too much. And we're realizing maybe we've gone too far with smartphones. They're addictive. There are certain apps that take our data. There's privacy concerns, especially for our children. What are they seeing? What are they being exposed to? There's been this sort of new wave of people going, hey, is there a device that kind of dumbs down the smartphone a little bit? And so I think the first device I ever saw was the Light Phone like 1. I think it just had like buttons, like a number pad basically, and you could make calls on it, and that was it. It was back in college that I saw it. I thought it was innovative in a way. I thought their marketing was really cool. I really liked the idea of the company. Wisephone 2 came around. I was aware of that. I actually reviewed it on the channel here, and I've been able to review and get my hands on a few other dumb phones as well. One that I was very excited about was this company called Techless, which makes Wisephone. I got to sort of know the why behind it. I was able to talk to them a little bit about like why the company was started. Basically, Chris, the founder, who I've also talked to, he had some foster kids. He was concerned with what they were going to be able to access and stuff on their smartphones, stuff like that. There's a whole backstory. You can probably look it up on their website or something. I reviewed Wisephone 1. I got to experience the operating system called Wise OS, and I made a video on it, which has done really well on the channel. And in that video, I talked very highly of Wisephone 2, which was this second iteration. So Wisephone 1 was an operating system they created on a Motorola device. So the hardware wasn't quite there. It was a little clunky. I talked about that in my review, and I also talked about how excited I was for Wisephone 2 because what Techless said was that they were going to create a proprietary device. There were mock-ups of it on their website. It was this off-white device. It was boasting a really big camera, like a 64 megapixel camera, stuff like that. And it just seemed to me like, wow, I really like the OS. If the device wasn't so clunky, this device would be really awesome. And so I was excited for Wisephone 2. Full disclosure, disclaimer, whatever the word is, we sold a lot of those. Like through that video, you all, others, pre-ordered Wisephone 2. And the controversy came in here. I had been following along with the company. I was very excited. They kept running into manufacturing issues where they were trying to create this proprietary device. They were trying to get it manufactured correctly. They kept going and checking out the factory, and they kept running into issues. And so what the company decided to do was pivot. And what they decided to do was use a Samsung, I think this is an A15. Don't quote me on that, but you may have seen a Samsung device before. Samsung. So they made a deal with Samsung. They could use their device and put their operating system on it, because what Techless was concerned with for investors, for customers, whatever the reason might be, is they were concerned with, they were just gonna have to keep pushing back the date of Wisephone 2. And so they wanted to get their product in the hands of these people who had pre-ordered it and been waiting around for this device. Now, the controversy, in my opinion, comes around with, I think a lot of the pre-orders, including myself, were excited for this new device that was going to have a great camera and was going to be a proprietary new hardware to sort of match with the software that is so great about this device. And then all of a sudden, they're going to be shipping out a Samsung device to you. So that bothered me quite a bit. And I want to back up a little bit and say, like, I've talked with Chris, the founder. I've talked with their affiliate lead. I've talked very briefly with their like new product development person. And I like the company. I like Techless. I like the why behind what they're doing. I think and we'll get into this here in a bit with the actual review of the phone. I just like what they're trying to do, but this felt very wrong to me. And so I had a very hard time making a video about this device. I've had this for a few months now, and I finally was able to talk to Joshua over at Techless, and he sort of walked me through the why and everything like that, and we talked about it. And I think this is what I've come to sort of be at peace with, I guess, with Techless. If you're just now finding out about Techless, this is a really cool device. It's a Samsung phone that they've put their operating system on. It's really locked down. There's a lot of privacy, cool privacy stuff with this. You can't use addictive apps. You can't browse the internet. There's a tool drawer, which means there are apps that we'll talk about here in a minute that we have just come to expect and want to use on our smartphones, that they are able to add to this device that don't distract us and stuff like that too. So if this is your first foray into dumb phones, this is a very, very interesting one. In fact, they're calling it the smartphone for a full life. So it has smartphone features, but it's very vetted, the amount of apps, the types of apps, how those apps use our data, they don't, and things like that. So that's my like gripe with what happened ends with any new person pre-ordering the device, because now if you go on their website, you can see it shows it's a Samsung device, shows their operating system on the other side, and you know what you're getting. Now, the company wasn't sketchy about it. They didn't just start shipping out pre-orders without telling anyone that you were using a Samsung device. They did a newsletter release, but they were upfront and they said, hey, this manufacturing side of things has been a nightmare. So instead of just continuing to just hold on to your pre-sale money, we're going to pivot, put the OS into a more than capable device. This phone's great, but it's not going to be this proprietary hardware. So they were very upfront about it. It still left a bad taste in my mouth. But as I said, moving forward, Wisephone II is now. It is a Samsung phone with a very special operating system on it. That was the controversy. Moving forward, you know what you're getting, okay? And I think what you thought you were getting in the past, if you maybe pre-ordered through my first review video, like I said, we made a lot of pre-orders through that video. And so one, I wanna say personally, I'm sorry. I didn't know this was gonna happen. But two, I wanna shift things. I've been kind of negative with this so far in this video. I wanna shift to the idea that, okay, Wisephone 2 is a Samsung device. Let's talk a little bit about the operating system. Let's review the device, review the phone, and look at it from that perspective, because I think that's fair, and I think there's no reason to like hold on to this gripe. I'm in marketing and advertising. I've been in startups. I've helped business grow in a few different roles in my life, and I understand how hard it is. Like, it wasn't an easy decision for Techless to just randomly decide to switch to a Samsung device. It required a lot of thought. It required a lot of headache going through that manufacturing process and coming up short every time and being frustrated. So I feel for Techless. I also feel for the consumer, and you'll find that is true on this channel. I feel for brands and I feel for consumers, and it's all a balancing act. But I know this was like the longest intro. I've been talking for 9 minutes, but I wanted to just lay this groundwork and set how I'm looking at this moving forward. So the other thing I want to do is, as I've said before, like, you can look up a review on this device. This device has been around for a while. I kind of want to walk through the OS here. I did a quick, when I first received this Wisephone 2, I did a quick unboxing live stream, and I hadn't updated it at all. So I had this like weird beta version, and then after I did that live stream, I updated it, and like so much was changed. So I've got my updates here. We're gonna walk through the device, and then I'm gonna sort of answer some questions I've had about the device and what I know a lot of people in my first video I did. There's a ton of comments questioning, why is there a subscription fee? Why is the price what it is? There's a ton of questions that I feel I can answer. I'll also talk a little bit about the tool drawer and that kind of thing. So anyway, we're gonna start with our top-down shot here. I wanna walk through the device, and then I wanna answer some questions about the device that I had and I was able to ask their team directly to answer for me. And yeah, and then, you know, we'll wrap up, and I'll give my opinions on who I think this is for and stuff like that. But let's do that now. All right, so it's gonna be a little awkward because I have my overhead camera here. I just wanted to pull it down closer to the device. I'll try to have my editors just kind of like my little head in a circle on the top of this video or something, so you guys can still see me talking. All right, so this is the device itself. It's a really cool device, honestly. It's quite big. Like here's a iPhone 16 Pro. As you can kind of see, it's got the case on it, but you can kind of see it's a little bit bigger than an iPhone 16 Pro. I have an opinion that I feel like dumb phones, whatever, dumbed down smartphones should be smaller. But anyway, you know, you can take pictures on this and look at them on a big screen and stuff like that. So that's cool. Yeah, I mean, it's a cool looking device. I mean, look at that. It's, you know, got this really interesting sheen to it. It feels good in the hand. There's a fingerprint reader here, volume rocker. The cool thing about this being a Samsung device is there's still a bit of like Samsung baked into the operating system. So we'll get into that in a second, but like I'm able to put like this calendar on here, which is cool. You know, I can access the flashlight from the home screen like I would on my iPhone, as well as the camera. The camera is, I think, a 50 megapixel camera. Takes decent pictures. I don't have a problem with the pictures that it takes, especially in bright environments. But let's go ahead and we'll just kind of hop in here. So there are a couple different variations of the operating system. So this is like the dark mode, which I just think is nice because I think it kind of covers up the bezels a little bit. And I mean, dark mode's awesome too. So you have your pinned apps. And then of course, if you swipe up, not of course, but if you swipe up, you can have more apps here as well. Settings, maps, and you'll see like what I mean. I have Spotify on here. So there, like I've said, there are apps that are allowed on here, which is kind of cool. Go ahead and get out of that. But this is what I kind of mean by like Samsung and Android. You can kind of see here's normal sort of Android keys. If you go into settings, you get this WiseOS settings menu. But then if I say to open system settings, now we're in like the Android operating system here with, you know, wallpapers and lock screens and all that kind of stuff too. So I think my biggest gripe with this being a Samsung device is it's not, because they're not owning the hardware and the software, they can't make it perfectly just Wisephoned out, right? You're gonna have these peeps of Samsung through here because there are certain settings and stuff that are native to the device that they need to be able to access. And they might be able to change that over time, but that's just what I found. I think that's what I was most excited about having a proprietary hardware, was it was gonna be full just Techless, like however they wanted to do things, right? So if I hop in here to the gallery, you know, you can see some photos that I've taken. They're not terrible. I mean, a 50 megapixel camera just on paper is quite nice. Anyway, it's not gonna be iPhone quality, but I think it's good enough. This is gonna do your basic stuff, cameras, maps. You can use a few different ones. They have organic maps. It's a newer device. It's snappy, it's quick. I haven't run into the problems that I had with the Wisephone 1 because that was on like a dated device and it was a little bit clunky. But the cool thing is where is it? The tool drawer. So this is all nice and it's dumbed down. But the big sort of point, and I think what sets Wisephone apart from Lightphone or Balance Phone or anyone else out there, is they have this system of vetting apps. Okay, so they are going to look at apps that you and I like can recommend. On their site, you can say, I want to recommend you add this baby monitor app because you're not currently allowing it, but I need it, right? I need to be able to see my baby while they're sleeping. So you can put in requests and they will sort of vet the app, see like what it's doing with security, with data, if it's addictive, things like that. Like they're not gonna have Instagram on here, right? Because of course they won't. But you can make suggestions on apps you would like to see, and then they will, you know, if it goes through the process and they're like, oh, cool, yeah, that's fine, they will put it in the tool drawer. And so you'll see like Waze is on here, right? So if I wanted to change my maps to Waze, I can do that. For some reason, I think it's because I haven't updated or something, I'm not getting like the full, I think there's like 248 current apps. 224, excuse me. So they also have this, you can also check it out on their site. In fact, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and, all right, so stepping aside here. So they actually have this Notion part of their site. See available tools on Wisephone 2. They've got all of these tools here, which you could look at just on their site, but like USAA, right? Venmo, Vestaboard, Wells Fargo app, Whoop, you need a budget, YNAB. These are the available tools. You can request an app. Like I said before, you can search for them. So like Spotify, right? Oh, it's on there. So that's nice. You can kind of see that before you purchase, you can see what apps are available. But anyway, so that's, without getting into it too much, I mean, this video is already going on really long. It's a smart dumb phone. It's a dumb smartphone, however you want to say it. It's a dumbed down smart device, and it's got this tool drawer. It does what you need it to well. Let's get into a few interesting things. Okay, here's the phone. I hope it doesn't fall down. I have my phone behind it to help with that. Anyway, all right, so I want to walk through this. $400 for the device. Okay, and it looks like they have buy 3 get 1 free sale happening right now. So it's a $400 device, and then you also have a few things. So no social media, no explicit content. Okay, that's probably not going to work just because of no web browser, no solo media. So another big thing that got a bit of controversy from people were a $400 device that you have to pay for their phone plan, period. Like that was the only option. You couldn't bring your Verizon SIM card over or your AT&T or whatever, but they've since changed that. What a lot of people don't understand is you have to pay a subscription month over month, whether you bring your own SIM card or not. They have their own minimal, healthy, and pro, which you can see the pricing there per month, but you can also do $14.99 a month, which is the cheapest option to bring your own carrier. Okay, that's rubbed a lot of people the wrong way as well, and they don't understand, like, I'm paying $400 and I'm paying monthly. Like, I don't want that, and it leaves a yucky taste in their mouth, and subscriptions feel weird, and like, what is this subscription for, right? If I'm bringing my own SIM card, why am I also paying $15 a month on top of that? So the answer to that, to put it very simply, and I'll dive into exactly what it is here in a second, to lock down this phone and to have updates keep happening, to keep it locked down and to keep it the way that Wisephone wants to, they have to have a team working on that on your behalf, like all the time. So paying Techless, which is the company, to keep your phone simplified, to continue adding apps that are okay to be used on this device, those are all things that people have to work on, right? So you don't just buy this device and then it sits, it's a brick and has some functionality for the next 4 years. It needs to be actively worked on. So a lot of what you're paying for here is you have Techless, this team, working on your behalf to keep your phone private, to keep your data safe, to keep it simplified, to keep it not addicting. So that's where the subscription comes in, put simply. All right, so one thing I asked Josh over at Techless to do was to further explain the subscription. And this is what he said. The subscription funds ongoing development for updates for WiseOS, the intentional operating system that makes Wisephone what it is. This isn't a one-time setup, but an evolving platform designed to stay secure, functional, and distraction-free as technology and user needs change over time. So you can see, like, as the company grows too, like if they go the route of using other people's devices like Samsung, or if they start to make their own hardware, they have to keep making new hardware and they have to keep making sure that things are taken care of. If you think about a $400 phone, this is doing a lot, right? So in their defense, I understand the subscription. I'm not super stoked on it, but again, looking at it from their company side, it's a necessity, especially to keep the device so cheap, because they're having to pay Samsung for this device, right? They would have to pay to make their own proprietary device. So like there's a cost there. So anyway, there's the answer to that. Also, I should have said this earlier. Comment down below your thoughts and opinions and ideas when it comes to Wisephone, because I think this is such a device that requires discussion, and it's such a topic that requires a lot of discussion as well. And I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I'll try to see if Techless will even hop in the comments and do some back and forth as well. No promises there. Some of the other most asked questions: security and safety features. Okay, so regular updates to ensure your device remains safe and private. This includes robust protections against vulnerabilities and adherence to our core promise of prioritizing your privacy over profits. So let's talk about this tool drawer, right? Wisephone isn't just hardware, it's an ecosystem. Your subscription includes access to essential features like music maps, tools curated for intentional use. Without the subscription, the device defaults to basic functions to ensure simplicity for users who prefer to forego ongoing updates. I don't even know if that's still a feature. I guess there is an option to not have a subscription, but the phone basically is bricked in a way. That's something we might need to ask them what they mean by that. Third-party app integration. Many third-party apps like Signal or Google Wallet are free. Our integration work ensures they function harmoniously within Wisephone's intentional design. This requires development, vetting, maintenance to align these apps with Techless's vision of healthy tech use. Top tier customer support, working with them has been awesome. They're always willing to talk and chat, and I would hope that their customer service is like that as well. I can't speak from experience because I've been on sort of the other side of things, but they say subscribers receive continued access to a dedicated support team, ensuring a smooth experience with setup, troubleshooting, and feature questions. All right, a mission-driven product. Subscription, I'm literally reading you an email. I'm sorry. You can skip ahead if you want. The subscription enables Techless to remain independent and aligned with our values. Unlike big tech, we don't rely on ads, data sales, or gimmicks. Instead, the subscription sustains ethical development that puts people first. I love that. The Techless subscription is included in the cost of all 3 carrier plans, and the difference in price is based on the amount of data and hotspot availability. When setting up Wisephone, you will have the option to choose between Essential, Expanded, Essential, which is minimal, or Expanded vetted third-party app features. So you can bring your own carrier. That was a huge question that I've seen in the comments as well. Currently, the compatible carriers are AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, Ting, and Tello. Mint Mobile, Cricket Wireless, and Metro are likely compatible. And then US Cellular, US Mobile, and other MVNOs like Fi or Red Pocket are not available. Okay, so those were like the biggest questions. I asked Techless to send me the biggest questions they get so I could answer them for you all. And a lot of these were in the comments of my first video as well. So I want to wrap this up because this has been a really long video, but I think it's been important. I'm excited for the dumb phone market. It's a very confusing and interesting topic because everyone has their perfect idea of what a dumb phone is in their head and what they would want their smartphone to be to help with distractions and all that kind of stuff. So the fact that Techless has put so much work into this idea of a tool drawer, I think is their biggest feature, right? They're trying to make the smartphone a tool that helps in our daily life, that doesn't distract us from the important things in life. And you are going to start seeing other dumb phone companies try and do that in various different ways. I'm aware of the Balance phone, which takes more of a everything's whitelisted, and then as people complain about them, we blacklist them. So it's the opposite way of doing things. So anyway, I don't know. You know, in summation, I still like the company. I think the people are good there. It's just they had this manufacturing problem that was more of a letdown than anything. And I think because they were upfront about it, forthright, is that the word? I can't be mad at them for that. They were willing to obviously refund pre-sales that they had on Wisephone II, but even still, it sucks. But in an industry like this, it's evolving and changing every day like tech does, but almost in the opposite way. It's devolving in a way, and how do you manage that? So it's fascinating to me. I can talk about it even more than I have before. I just want to say thank you to Techless and Wisephone for one, sending me devices, 2, being willing to meet and chat through this. I mean, I told them like, hey, I'm upset. I don't know how I'm going to make a video on it because I'm a little upset about this. And they were willing to just talk and chat through it. And they're also willing to allow me to be open and vocal about how I feel about this. So thank you to Wisephone and Techless. Yeah, it's been a pleasure working with you guys. I want to keep promoting and following you all. If you've been thinking about buying Wisephone 2, I still think it's a great option, especially if it's new to you. The device is great. Speaking from experience, the hardware is great. The software is awesome. And the tool drawer makes it all the more better, especially, you know, who's this for? I think it's for someone like me who on the weekends and weeknights, I want to switch over to a dumbed down device that still has great tools and functionality so that I'm not distracted from my family. You know, I don't need to be browsing and doing stuff like that, but I might need to check my bank account, maybe, I don't know. So I think it's for someone like me, digital minimalists, people who just want to spend more time in the real world. I also think for kids, this is massive. And I know too that Techless has a roadmap for creating more specific devices for like the elderly and for kids and stuff like that in the future, I think. And I think I can share that. But it's a great device. I like the why behind Techless, and you can obviously read about it all on their website. If you do want to buy one, they're shipping now. So you can check the link in the description, order yours through my link. I think I might be able to get you a discount code if that's still working. And then I will get a kickback too, just to put that out there, which helps the channel and allows us to keep making videos like this. But that's gonna do it for this way too long review and explanation of Wisephone 2. Again, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'm excited to be testing out some other dumb phones this year in 2025. It's going to be a fun year. So let me know if there's any other devices out there you'd like me to check out in the comments down below as well. Thanks so much for watching. If you're new, please consider subscribing. Like this video for more. Watch this video next. I think you're going to love it. And we'll see you all in the next one.